Hi everybody, welcome back. Up next is the 48 Ford Police Coupe by Revell. I'll be doing it similar to the box art as the police car. Here's an overview of the parts that were washed prior to assembly. The first thing I did was get the engine pieces assembled and coated with flat black craft paint as a primer. Well, the thing about this kit is you want to attach as many parts as you can. The kit is almost all completely built, especially the chassis and all the drivetrain components, the suspension, all has to be completed before you can paint it. Otherwise you'll be scraping off glue points on the body. And I know there's other videos on YouTube of people showing how the parts and how they put them together, and I've researched those as well before I've done mine. So you can look those up as well. I can leave links for those. I've put the glued the tail lights on the body here, glued the firewall in, got that lined up, and I've got the seats together. I've got the all the chassis components put together here. There's a lot of little pieces, a lot of gluing, so it's best to do that. And I'm just going to take my rattle can with black primer and spray the whole thing. That'll be the next step, and then do some detail painting after that. Well, I was able to get out in the garage yesterday and used my Premier black primer. I taped the chassis and the floor pan together, and I was able to spray that with the rattle can primer. I've gone in and dry brushed a little bit of rust color and some silver and gunmetal underneath, a bit of interest. And I've been working on the engine to detail paint that, so I'll have a few pictures of that coming up as well. This all comes apart, and then that keeps my glue points clear for when I put this together. I'm going to do a little bit more detail painting and rusting on the bottom here a little bit, and wear and tear, and I'll be moving on from there. Well, I mixed up some blue and some gray together to get this engine color. Then I did oily steel on the transmission, and some brass gold on the carburetor in the back, and some rust color on the exhaust pipes, and then gloss black on the rest, and a little bit of detail painting. I put some wash on it to show some grease and grime on it. Highlighted the bolts. I have to do that over again with Molotow marker just to highlight the head bolts, and the engine's coming along well. I've got the engine detail painted. It's all set, ready to go into the chassis. And speaking of which, I've got the chassis weathered and rusted a little bit. I've used some Stynylrez red oxide primer type color and a couple of acrylic craft paints, the red brick and a burnt orange, and just a slightly little dab of yellow here and there with an old brush. The yellow you put over the burnt orange, it really brings out the rust look. I like doing the ends of the mufflers that's around here. That seems to be where they always start to go, and the springs. So I think that's ready for assembly now. Once the rust paint is on, I do a very thin black wash over it just to highlight the rust. Well, I've done all the interior parts with Stynylrez dark gray primer, and then what I'm going to do now is probably shoot the Craft Smart, it's a lighter gray craft paint, over that just to lighten it up a little bit. Well, I painted the interior in the light gray craft paint, and I've left the headliner in the car in the dark gray primer, the Stynylrez primer, just for some contrast, and I did the floors in the dark gray Stynylrez, and then the flat black for the rubber mats. I did a little bit of Molotow chrome on highlight the handles on the doors, and I think that's getting ready for to assemble the interior now. Well, I got the radiator installed with the upper and lower rad hoses in. It went together easily, and fit is quite everything has been quite good. I've got the wheel rims painted in gloss black and Molotow marker on the lug nuts. A little bit of weathering and rusting on the back wheel backs with the brake drums on them, just to show some wear and tear on that. So I've sanded the tread on the tires a little bit just to take the shine off of them, give it a bit of a used look. So I use a Tamiya black panel line on the dash and then attach the decals. After masking off the rest of the car, I used Rust-Oleum 2X white primer to cover the doors and the sides where the police decals will go.